never consider myself an expert in this area because Vedic astrology is continuously revolving. And I think that's how I really wanted to treat Vedic astrology anyway, is it's never this fixed thing, right? So because our modern world is going towards that place in the sense of things are changing and we need to be able to adapt. We need to be able to do certain things. But I like to specialize just in relationship because if we are not on our own, who are we with, right? With other people. And I think that's really important where our strength and weakness are pulled. So this video is really about the first house. And the first house always refer to, I believe in, here's an analogy. You're going through the birth canal, coming out to this world. And it's all about knowing who you are, self-identity and who you are. And this is such a big, important house here because this is how you show up in this world. It means beginning. It means a voyage of discovery of who you are. So if you're doing personal development, you're finding out who you are, what you represent, how you identify yourself. First impression, that's what it is. I might go into later on videos about planet, but we're just talking about house right now. And so the first house is who you are, what will you become, how do you realize your best self? And those are the first house speaking, it really resonate that in the world. So the distinguished quality becomes possible and often referred to personality. So that means that you have a personality and that's what you show. And whatever going on planets and things like that, that will happen. It also represents your body, right? Your physical body, and then the way that which you represent ourselves, right? Your head, your face, your features, right? So I might do a beauty video about face features because I really love interest in this area. Definitely the way that you look, the way that you sound is more the second house, but the way that you look, there's a certain planet that really bring things up, and there's other aspects as well. So if you are going through what you call a transit in any of the planets, this would actually affect how you appear, how you think, your mindset. So everybody talks about the mindset is a thing, and I know I want to say the face feature is really important, but also I feel like the moon is really important too. So that has a big effect, but more of the first house is more of your own childhood, your early childhood development and your thinking process later on and how that's developed. That's the first emerging step in the world that you have. How will you develop? And what is our view on life? And that's the biggest thing. That's the beginning of the first house. We serve to shape us in our life, right? In some, the first house speaks the person who we become and will become both internal and external. So that's, again, we're talking about internal, how I was talking about the mindset, how you develop, how you see things, how you, project certain things. That's what we're going to be talking about. That's projecting a lot of those things that's happening through our childhood. It also addressed our personality, representing the world, our essential quality and approaching to life. That's a big part of it. And basic sensibility as well, the inner self and outer body. And the first house is about that. And so if you have certain planets, those are going to come into effect. But it's all about here. If you have certain planets, that's what you're representing with the planet as well. And that's how you can think. You can know a lot of person through their first house and their appearance. If you are looking at someone's chart, do they look like a Capricorn? Do they look like a Taurus? Or do they look like, do they follow the certain life path, right? So I feel like the first house is more like the life path. So we go through all the house. The first house is the birth house, and we go through all the rest of it. That's why your birth time is such an important factor. And yes, we can talk about Nasrakra, and to be honest, that will be on later on, but that's a big difference. So that's a degree we're going to be talking about later, and I might get into that as the series goes on. But yeah, that really sums up everything that I really want to talk about the first house. Oh, so yes, we talk about the physical, the appearance, intellect as well. That's the mind, how you think, intelligence as well, how you show up the world, the complex of the body as well. Any weakness that you have with the planet in that ascendant makes a big factor. Happiness makes a big one too. So, if you're more of Capricorn type of person, you're a little bit more serious. But if there's other planets influence, it kind of just balances off. Grieve is another one. Grief, internal nature. So, like, that's your internal world, how you become. And that image about masculine and feminine, that you can also notice those things, how they transform a lot of those things. So, and that's a big factor here. I think that's all I have for now. And I want to talk about later on, like, the second house. So stay tuned for that. And thank you so much for joining me. And I will see you guys next week. I believe we're going to try to come on every week as I can. All right. Bye now.